Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we really get into fascinating source material, try and pull out those golden nuggets of insight for you. Today, we're focusing on something pretty powerful, provocative even. It's the lyrics from Lazarus's track, One for the Ages. And, this isn't just a song. It feels more like a lyrical tapestry, full of these bold statements, sharp critiques, and this huge ambition for leaving a legacy. Our source material today is an excerpt from the official music video transcript. That's Lazarus, One for the Ages, prod by Dr. Zeus. Found it right on his YouTube channel. It's raw stuff, very direct, and just packed with layers of meaning. Really gives you a window into, well, his whole worldview.
Exactly. And our mission really is to unpack how Lazarus is using language here, how he uses words to, well, claim dominance, first off, but also to build this personal legacy he envisions, stretching from the new world to the ancient. That's his phrase. And on top of that, voicing some incredibly sharp critiques of, societal systems. What really jumps out, I think, is how he pulls in this incredibly wide range of references, historical, cultural, all woven together.
That's what grabbed me straight away. I mean, it really makes you lean in.
Right.
You hear him talking about the Temple of Artemis, the Pyramid of Giza, Petra, the Colosseum, Chichen Itza, ancient wonders, and then almost in the same breath, you get modern stuff like Autobot to Optimus, or comparing himself to Habib Nurmagomedov on the mic. It just immediately signals, okay, this is going to be a rich discussion, lots to unpack.
Precisely. And as we get into it, we'll hit a few key themes. First, there's this self-proclaimed power and influence he talks about. He ties it right to his vocabulary, the words on these pages. It's more than just boasting, isn't it? It feels like he's redefining what power even looks like.
Yeah, it does. And then there's his story, his journey. He paints this picture of starting as an outcast, finding confidence through hip-hop, and then pivoting to this huge mission, a quest to unify the 7 continents, wanting to emancipate the populace to prosper. That shift from personal struggle to this global ambition is pretty striking, wouldn't you say?
It really is. We should definitely explore the implications of that. And of course, we have to talk about his critical takes, very direct. He gives these strong opinions, sometimes quite controversial, on patriotism, calls it Satanism, views on tax, religion, and this idea of division and control being pushed onto people.
Right. Plus these deeper, almost philosophical lines to just stop you for a second. Like when he says programmers couldn't code a single chromosome in a protozoan, that one really challenges our ideas about, human creation versus nature's complexity.
Yeah.
Makes you think about where real power or ingenuity actually lies.
A very pointed example. And running through all this, kind of the bedrock ambition, is that line he keeps coming back to, building legacy, one for the ages. He's not just rapping for now, he's clearly aiming for something eternal.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Right at the start, Lazarus throws down the gauntlet. Who would have thought I'd conquer the world with my vocabulary? Calls himself a captivating, visionary, multi-nation mercenary. It's crystal clear he sees words as his weapon, his power source. But focusing specifically on vocabulary, how does that elevate his claim beyond, typical artist swagger?
Well, I think what's insightful is the mechanism he claims. He doesn't just say, I'm powerful. He says language is his tool for conquest. When he compares his lyrics' impact to wonders to the world like the Temple of Artemis and the Pyramid of Giza, that's not just a cool comparison. He's suggesting, I think, that real legacy isn't stone and mortar, it's meaning. Carefully crafted meaning that lasts. He says he raises the dust where I go without no adversary. It implies this unmatched, almost elemental force in his words.
So his art is positioned as a new kind of ancient marvel, built from words, not stone.
Yeah.
And he links this straight to his past. Never been an optimist, grew up as an outcast, hip-hop gave me confidence. How does that transformation from outcast to someone with this huge global ambition connect? What's the bridge there?
That's where the narrative gets really compelling, I find. Because right after that, he says, now I'm on a quest to unify the 7 continents, emancipate the populace to prosper. His own journey out of feeling marginalized seems to directly fuel this universal mission. For him, hip-hop wasn't just music. It was the spark for this, global liberation idea. He mentions it coming out my soul like a Rastafarian, but also taking over like the mobsters. That mix of spiritual freedom and aggressive takeover is interesting.
Yeah, that blend is quite something. And he keeps stressing it's not just talk, it's about impact, action. He's brawling on the mic like I'm Habib Nurmagomedov, that dominant, undefeated fighter image. And he repeats that idea of walking on the whole world stages and getting no favors, just with the words on these pages. What does that repeated emphasis on earned success, on doing it himself, do for the message for the listener?
That sense of fierce, earned success feels really rooted in his origin story. He talks about coming straight from the bottom, from the seeds and roots, slave in your labor till you reap the fruit. It grounds all that ambition and struggle and hard work in this search for truth. He says he's traveled the whole world to seek the truth. To those with no faith, I speak the proof.
Yeah.
So it's framed not as privilege, but as this relentless pursuit of what he sees as true, using his art to deliver it.
Okay, and this is where his critiques get really sharp, radical even. Listeners might find this part quite challenging. He flat out says they want patriotism. That's Satanism, and connects it to taxes. They do it through the tax you pay in or take you to prison. Oh, then he broadens it to religion. Claims they don't want you praying to God, just atheism, saying that we came from nothing, they raped religion.
Zacchaeus.
I mean, those are incredibly strong, provocative words. Linking patriotism to Satanism, for example. Do you think using such extreme terms risks pushing some people away, or is that maybe part of the point, the intended impact?
That's a great question. He's definitely not just critiquing gently here. It's a stark vision he's painting, almost apocalyptic in a way. He sees a system designed to create division, control your home, your soul is gone. He even brings in the Illuminati concept, claiming they keep showing us public humiliation, saying, robbery and slavery is what has produced the nation, that society is just focused on the dollar bill stuck in the pupil chasin. It's a total rejection of perceived systemic oppression. Sure, that intensity can definitely polarize. But for those who feel similarly, it might create a really deep bond, like he's voicing a truth they feel but can't express. It feels like a calculated rhetorical move.
Mm-hmm. Calculated seems right. And then we get that line that really stands out. Every programmer of the phone you own couldn't code a single chromosome in a protozoan.
Well, that really does make you pause. What's the core philosophical point you think he's making with such a specific, almost scientific detail like that? What's so effective there, I think, is using that precise biological fact to make this sweeping argument about creation and complexity. He's basically saying, look at the immense, almost unbelievable complexity of life, even at its most basic level, a single-celled protozoan. And despite all our amazing technology, our ability to code complex phones, we humans can't replicate that fundamental life blueprint. It's a powerful jab at human arrogance, isn't it? Contrasting our manufactured systems with the sheer, uncreated complexity of nature. And he follows it up saying, my progeny will not be a byproduct of this crime policy, which suggests he wants to shield the future from these systems he despises.
Yeah, it really is a mic drop moment. Leaves you with a lot to chew on. Then he circles back to his own power, his mind being where he resides, buys property, his thoughts being sharp as pyramid tips when sides are isosceles. That imagery connects his mental state right back to those ancient, enduring structures he mentioned earlier. Like, his mind itself is one of these timeless wonders.
Exactly. And ultimately, all these strands, the declarations, the critiques, the philosophy, they all seem to funnel back into that main goal. From the new world to the ancients, making my legacy one for the ages. He says it multiple times. It hammers home the central importance. It's not just about now. It's about the lasting impact he intends to have across time. Like those ancient wonders he admires, a legacy beyond trends, beyond current systems, positioning himself as, a timeless force.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Lazarus's One for the Ages, it's really clear these lyrics are just brimming with the power of words. They act as this intensely personal declaration of legacy, stemming from that journey outcast to self-styled global unifier. And at the same time, it's this broad, unfiltered commentary on society, spanning ancient history right up to, well, almost futuristic ambitions.
Precisely. And what really stands out is how his use of these specific, often very intense images and his direct critiques, they force you to re-examine things. Established norms, the pursuit of truth as he sees it, that repeated line about having no favors, achieving it all just with the words on these pages, it's not just bragging. It underlines the immense self-belief in his art. It reinforces the core ambition, that his words alone are enough to forge that legacy, one for the ages, a permanent mark.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener, to maybe mull over. What does it really mean to create something for the ages today, especially in a world where ancient and new seem to constantly shift? And how does your own vocabulary, your own way of expressing yourself either contribute to or maybe challenge the big stories, the dominant narratives of our time? Something to think about until our next deep dive into source material.